Well, hello there everybody, welcome back to the channel. Dodgy Gamer here, International Manager of Mystery, managing obscure nations so you don't have to. And welcome to our special bonus YouTube episode covering Olympic Games Qualifying. So much like the bonus footage on a DVD, this episode features the entire qualifying tournament, which was neither streamed nor shown nor mentioned on Twitch. Now, before we have a look at our squad for this tournament, just a reminder that this is your one-stop shop for all things international management on Football Manager. So if that's your kind of thing, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, get the bell on so you don't miss any of the international action. So this being an Olympic qualifying tournament, that means it's an under-23 event. Though unlike the Olympic finals, there's no overage player quota. This is just pure 23 and under. No other restrictions beyond that, however. So that meant we were able to pick a number of players who are actually regulars in the first team squad, such as Sella, already with 30 caps at just 20 years of age and set to be a key part of our attacking options. Thomas Dunn, also 20 years old and with very close to 30 caps to his name, so we're very happy to have this deep line playmaker with us. And of course, Semi Matalau, 22 years old and averaging almost a goal a game at senior level. We'll definitely be expecting goals from him. It wasn't all good news though, as the lack of depth at left back extends beyond the senior ranks of Fiji and into the youth ranks as well, meaning Mr. Calamity Naiviro was the best option. After his nightmare against Tahiti in the Pacific Games, we'd be hoping for a big improvement this time. But back to good news though, and with the players available, it meant I was able to implement the same tactics that we use at senior level. So 4-2-3-1, so familiar for those players who've dropped down from the senior squad and good practice for those players who are trying to break into the senior squad. Anyway, it's now time to turn our attention to our group games. As these matches were not recorded for the stream, there will be no webcam on, no live commentary, just me and my dulcet tones bringing you the action. With Tonga one of the lowest ranked nations in the competition, a win to kick things off in our first match had to be the aim. The qualification tournament was being hosted in Papua New Guinea. And based on what we see here, it wasn't particularly well advertised to the locals. Tonga started the match brightly with a shot cannoning back off the crossbar, and we first threatened as Dunn played through Matalau, who was crowded out before he could get a sight of goal. Just as it seemed the drab first half would come to a goalless conclusion, we won a penalty. Who would step up? Matalau? No? Naiviro? Oh, my fault for not setting the set piece takers before the game, I suppose, but no worries to be had, as the much-maligned left-back converted to put us 1-0 up. But that would not be all the action for the half, as Sukabula hacked a clearance deep into the Papua New Guinea half, and Matalau was on hand to do what he does best, and chip the keeper. Early in the second half, he would be at it again, latching onto a poor clearance by the keeper to make it 3-0. It was fairly quiet after that, with no action of note until Thomas Dunn went off injured late on, hopefully nothing too serious. There would, however, be one more goal as Matalau went all Gareth Bale on us and ran the length of the left touchline to complete his hat-trick with an early contender for goal of the tournament. A dominant win in the end, just what we wanted to kick off this qualification campaign. And with Matalau in fine form, we would approach our next match with confidence. Unfortunately, a big blow came with the news that not one, but two players would have to go home early due to injuries sustained in the Tonga game, including playmaker Thomas Dunn. Hopefully, their replacements would be up to the job. Next, we were up against Vanuatu, who had picked up a point in their opener against Papua New Guinea. A win for us here would probably be enough to secure qualification for the semi-finals. I guess the competition organisers still hadn't got round to promoting the hottest ticket in town for this one. An early surprise here as Naiviro made a positive contribution to the game, starting off an attacking move and delivering a deep cross to Matalau, who must have had eyes in the back of his head to score that. Sadly, he was offside. We would then get sucker punched by Vanuatu, who took the lead just after the half-hour mark thanks to a Matalu-esque chip from Leo. Matalau then tried to live up to his reputation as a stoppage time specialist, but couldn't quite fire off the shot in time. We started the second half brightly though, and a confident build-up led to a header from right winger Seru Savu, which was helped over the line by some trademark oceanic comedy goalkeeping. Just when it seemed both sides had settled for a draw, we got the chance for a break down the right. The ball was eventually crossed towards Ishan Kumar, who fired the header home. A great moment for a player only drafted into the squad due to those injuries after the first game. 24 hours earlier, he'd been on a beach in, well, Fiji, I guess, and now here he was, grabbing us a barely deserved win. A dramatic comeback win then, which put us on 6 points and meant that we had secured early qualification for the semi-finals, as had Solomon Islands and New Zealand in Group A. With qualification confirmed, from our perspective, the final game was just about guaranteeing first place and therefore avoiding New Zealand in the semis. But we would have to watch out for a Papua New Guinea side in need of a result to qualify themselves. If you were expecting more fans in attendance to see the hosts in action, well, I guess there were a few more up there at the top. They would be glad they had made the effort, though, as Papua New Guinea took an early lead, Kuliao scoring the header on 3 minutes. The lead wouldn't last long, though, as Eshan Kumar once again drifted in from the left to head home a fine cross just moments after the restart. Now, a draw here would be enough to see Papua New Guinea go through in second, and they did then seem to sit back, with us dominating the remainder of the half. However, it was Papua New Guinea who would grab a second goal against the run of play just before the break. Only their second real chance of the game, but enough to put them top. Temporarily, that is. We would be level early in the second half with some penalty box pinball preceding a strike from Matalau. A few minutes later, we were in the lead for the first time in the game, Kumar turning provider this time as he crossed for Seri Savu to head home. 3-2 it would finish then, as we won 3 matches out of 3, and Papua New Guinea blew their qualification chances when all they needed was a point. That meant Vanuatu squeaked through behind us in second spot, while in Group A, New Zealand secured top spot with a win over Solomon Islands, who of course finished second. And they would of course be our opponents in the semi-final. While New Zealand would obviously face Vanuatu. Could we make it to the final? And would anyone be able to stop the Kiwis? While this semi-final matchup got the TV treatment with the fancy graphics, their fans were still staying away. Probably a wise choice this time, as the tropical rains lashed down and the half passed with hardly any action of note. The second half was a different story though, as we opened the scoring early. A free kick sent into the danger zone with Turga Lailai, whose name looks harder to pronounce than it actually is, getting the goal. A second would come just after the hour mark, as a poor kick from the keeper saw the ball swiftly fall to Matalou's feet, and we know he just doesn't miss those. That was it until stoppage time loomed, and a quick Solomon Islands counter-attack resulted in a sublime squared ball and an all-too-easy tap-in for Leai. Any dreams of a Fergie-time comeback were soon squashed, though, as Seri Savu, who was having a blinder of a tournament, popped up to head home and secure a 3-1 win. Clinical finishing the difference then, as we advanced to the final, as did New Zealand, though they were made to work hard by Vanuatu for their 2-1 win. The inevitable final was set then, and I eagerly awaited my scouting team's report. But it seems my assistant manager Ratu had been enjoying the nightlife of Port Moresby a little bit too much, telling me there was no data available on these boys. As you can see, a collection of players from top sides in New Zealand, Wellington Felix of the A-League, a few from Denmark, Sweden, and the Netherlands as well. Anyway, well, our path to the final had come with 4 straight wins in our 4 games played. We were up against a team who had enjoyed much more time to gel, having played multiple friendlies and the Pacific Games as well, albeit without their European contingent. And let's remember, this is a team my scouts told me there was no data available on. Despite the fact that New Zealand were heavy favourites, this was a one-off final. Anything could happen, and a journey to the Olympic Games was potentially just 90 minutes away. Finally, a decent turnout by local standards for the final, but it was a drab first half. Until the 30th minute, that is, when New Zealand opened the scoring far too easily. We were hoping to hold on and regroup, but a second would come just before half-time. Otokolo controlling a ball at pace to score on the turn. And that was not even it for the half, as another long ball down the middle found Otokolo for another lofted ball into the back of the net. Now, the outcome of this match may seem inevitable from here, and it is, but I promise you, it's worth watching until the end. Despite Dogalau's best efforts to break Otokolo's legs in the second half, we could not prevent a fourth, as an intricate passing move led to Wayne getting his second and New Zealand's fourth of the evening. There would, however, be a consolation late on, and it was worth the admission fee alone. Defenders hesitating, the goalkeeper simultaneously reacting way too late and way too early to allow Matalau to have the goal at his mercy. Pure comedy. New Zealand, though, would win the match and even got a trophy for a qualifying competition? Rub it in, why don't you? The inevitable defeat to New Zealand that is the bugbear of the rest of the Oceanic region. No Olympic Games for us then, sadly, but it was fun trying, and the final defeat was almost worth it for that final goal. Oh, come on. Let's watch it again. Oh, that one is going on TikTok. But for now, thank you very much for watching this special episode. If you enjoyed it, please make sure you subscribe to the channel, like this video, get the bell on for notifications so you don't miss any more of the International Manager of Mystery action. Remember, you can catch me on Twitch every Wednesday and Sunday at 9:30. I'm Dodgy Gamer, and I'll see you again soon.